if we're going to have any chance of beating LG, we're going to have to take the 2 S&Ds, and then with the 1 respawn that we do take, we're going to have to, you know, all have the best games. We know we can beat them. It's just coming down to playing well and getting our kills.
When we face MindFreak this weekend, I think if we outslay them in the respawn modes, we'll take it pretty easily. In S&D game modes, I think that if we just play together and do our thing like we have been doing, then I think we'll be fine.
So we were swept by LG back in Dallas for a top 8 finish, I believe. It was Sunday morning early. We had minimal sleep. I believe they came in fresh as they had an earlier finish on a Saturday night. If we play even and someone doesn't go off against us, you know, we can beat them. But it's going to be a close series.
Going into the match, we're going to do our thing. We're going to play our game, and we're not going to change much about it just because we've beaten all the North American teams, beaten all the European teams, so I don't think we really have to change anything. I think this will be their true test to see what they can do as a team.
It's time to put MindFreak to the test. This is the 3rd match of the final day of Group Red. We have just 2 more to go, and we basically already know where these 2 teams are going to finish in the group. Luminosity, they've locked up the top spot by going to a Game 5 versus Fnatic at the start of the day. MindFreak, they are now in a very rough position at 1-4. Tried to improve on that to a 2-4, but it's going to be tough. You're going up against the toughest squad, the squad that just won Anaheim, and you heard from the players, not a whole lot of confidence going into this matchup. They feel they have to win both search and destroys and steal a respawn. So looking at the maps, Joe, what respawn is it going to be? Are we going to see it on Hardpoint Breakout? Will it be Uplink Frost? Or potentially even a hardpoint throwback?
None of them. I'm going to be honest with you. I just think all those are really strong for Luminosity. Like Breakout and Throwback Hardpoint, they're just so good slang-wise. And then Frost Uplink, all of those guys are scary with E-Rides, especially today. Classic and Saints have been absolute beasts all weekend long. I just don't see it. If you're MindFreak, I guess the best way to sort of look at this is, listen, we have the Call of Duty World League Championship coming up. Let's get as much practice as we can. It's against the best team in the world. So hey, let's give it all.
Predictions continue. Give me 2 letters each.
LG.
LG. 3-0 LG.
It's more than 2 letters, Joe, but we'll take the 3-0. Let's send it over to our casters. We got the beautiful courage with Mr. X.
Wow, he gave me the beautiful courage, and it was.
And I'm here.
And
I'm
Mr.
here.
X, man,
I'm on a box still. You're on the box now.
We are both.
Everybody's on boxes.
We are both standing on boxes right now.
So I'm actually gonna invest in my own box. I want to like put like cool designs on it. Like, are you cool with that one?
No, I'm actually fine with this. It's unfortunate that this is what we have to deal with, but we weren't blessed with the height of Puckett and Maven. But we are better looking. As we move forward, though, with this series, if we're being honest, the stage is kind of set here between LG and MindFreak.
It definitely is.
But if there is one thing that I'm looking out for with LG as we're already into the game is I think they're still going to come out with a fire here just because of their series loss earlier.
Oh, yeah, they're pissed on how the last series went.
Yep.
I think they want to come out here. They want to win this series, obviously. End the weekend on a good note. You already got first place, but don't want to end it on 2 potential losses.
No.
Some kills in the feed there for MindFreak at the beginning of the game, but it is LG holding on to those spawns for cell block, hill number 2. Now on the side of MindFreak, I think you just want to get practice in, right, Jack? I mean, this is kind of, obviously you're going to finish at the bottom of this group. You just got to get the best practice you can at this point.
Yeah, and it's got to be frustrating for MindFreak. Your last chance now, at least in Infinite Warfare, comes down to COD champs. 15-6 currently the score for MindFreak. LG in control of the hard point. Slack will just bounce around, play his life. As his team, I like what they're doing. They're flooding out this lane quite far as Saints picks up both. They're not expecting him to be there at all. He catches not only Fida, but Buzzo off guard with the quick 2-piece. As now LG will set up to continue to expand on this lead.
Yeah, it's nice positioning there from Saints. The hill pops up. It'll be in control of Luminosity. Classic on a 5 streak right now. Roaming around mid-map. Now on a 6 streak.
Gosh, Classic.
Classic. Destroying in the middle of the map.
Is this one of his best events he's had in recent times? Best weekends?
I think it is. But at the same time, we give so much credit to everybody else. We talk about a lot of the other players on LG a lot. I mean, we probably do miss a lot of the good games that Classic has overall.
Absolutely. Right now, it's more than worth it to show his perspective as he's 1 kill off being fully streaked out. Already a quarter of the way to camo. And LG, they're set up for a full 60 here. I think they're going to get it. Doesn't get much easier than that for the kill. Not going to find the second, but either way, the damage has been done as now it's a 40-second difference between these teams. And Matt, from what you've seen with MindFreak this weekend, I don't think people expected them to finish top 2 in this group.
Nope.
But are you disappointed in what you saw from them? Is it kind of where you thought it would all play out? Where do you stand here?
I think you have to be disappointed. I mean, when they pick up Dens, right, you didn't expect things to click right away. They go to Anaheim, they have a really poor performance. They stay in North America. You heard Buzzo the other day. They weren't able to find the best of scrims. A lot of 8s going on. Just trying to get used to the play style, trying to get a little bit better.
Yeah.
They felt more confident coming into this weekend, and they just haven't showed up, Jack, really. I mean, it's has not been good for MindFreak. And then you got to wonder what happens now. They go home. Obviously, you can't make a change. See Slack just murdering everybody coming through Cave. You can't make a change. You're stuck with this team now. How do you figure this out? Because they have now played with Dens on Infinite Warfare. Dens left at the beginning of the game. Didn't even have a chance to play with them, really. So you've only played this game with Excite, who's a pretty good 4th for you. You're getting some pretty good results. You know, you're keeping it close against these teams. You bring in Dens, who you consider the better player, and you're down 105-18. I mean, you're just not really... I mean, a lot of these games have been blowouts.
Yeah, and this is against one of the best teams in the world, but either way, yes. It will be the rotation towards Commissary. LG fighting from the back foot this time around.
It's a point Clint made. This group is much harder than their group in Stage 1.
Yeah, no, that's easy to say, and I think also we were looking at not only next week, but weeks 3 and 4. I think this is kind of the biggest difference in skill we see in a group. Obviously with LG up top, everyone expects them to get first. They've done just that. But even starting next week, anyone could really put up a fight in some of these groups. You've got an Enigma 6 team coming next week. Obviously Red Reserve coming to play. FaZe with their new 4th. Who knows what we're going to see from them. There's a lot to look forward to.
A lot of these other weeks are pretty much wide open.
Yes.
I think this is the one week where you looked at it and was like, okay, LG first, EG second. You thought Fnatic could hang.
And they've done that.
And they definitely have. You know, Fnatic, a very good team. They just have not been able to get over the hump. Big match coming up next with Fnatic and EG. Right now, it's Luminosity. Up 150-26 here against MindFreak.
It's close. It was close when the game was 0-0.
I was going to say, in what respect is it close?
No, at one point it was tied.
The players are close to each other.
On stage.
On stage.
Absolutely.
And in the game.
Yes. His Octane 10-5, he tweeted after his last series, Matt, you know, he's playing poorly. He's not feeling well. Do you remember any time when you were a coach where, you know, player was under the weather? What do you even do? Is there anything you can do to help outside the game?
I mean, not really. I mean, when somebody's not feeling well.
Yeah, how about you hop on the stick?
I'm not a doctor, you know, a coach.
Maven was a great coach when his players were sick.
No, he didn't do it.
He probably just tried to...
Yeah,
he just took the free stuff and left.
He slept till noon. He put on a track jacket and showed up at the venue.
For a team that wasn't even the team that he was representing.
Yeah.
Remember the old Unite what he had?
he wore this Unite jacket.
Yeah.
How does he still have it?
Oh, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
He used to wear this jacket everywhere.
While he was the coach of Curse.
It was like, yeah, it was like Unite hadn't had a team in like a year, and you would just wear this Unite jacket every day. It got kind of gross to a point. You're like, when is he washing it? Yeah.
The only thing that he wore more than that were the pair of jeans he got like 3 years ago from Europe and wore them every day.
And then he used to wear those like he's just
thank God his girlfriend came into his life and really changed him on up there for the better. But either way, we're kind of talking about that as LG.
He was such a mess before her.
He was.
And she's a saint.
She is. She deserves a Nobel
medal.
Peace Prize. Yeah. 122nd difference here. Shocks and crew, they're just trying to play for pride right now. As you got fight at 7:15, Buzzo a double negative as well.
And I think something to also kind of bring up, it's really difficult, you know, if you're a MindFreak, obviously, you know, from Australia, you know, to come all the way here to North America, spend time here. You know, you're away from, you know, girlfriends, you know, family, home, you know, your normal setup. You know, it's really like, it's kind of odd. Like, you wouldn't really expect it. I kind of have some experience with it, but like, I mean, you can't use your cell phone. It's like a lot of different things change.
Yep.
These guys are probably, you know, itching to get back to home.
Well, you heard Buzzo talk about it in the interview we had with him the other day. As Octane's getting flashy with the FTL jump there. Quick little 3-piece to put him at double positive at 16 and 8. But Buzzo even mentioned, you know, they have to get Ubers to go everywhere here. The dollar difference isn't as good for them. The time difference for communicating with people back home is crazy. It's a tough scenario. While the Europeans have to deal with it, it's a little bit more manageable. These guys have been out here for months now, it seems. And unfortunately, they're still down by 130.
Yeah, it's tough, especially now putting this much time in, you know, trying to get better after Anaheim and seeing these as the results. I think you go home, just kind of have to maybe take like a little bit of a break. I would probably take a week break after this and just everybody reset. Everybody come in completely refreshed going into champs.
Is a break best at times for a team?
You need to.
Yeah.
You need to. I think there's definitely burnout. And with the way the league is structured and how long the season is, I mean, you just keep going, 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 and going. You're going to burn yourself out by the time you get to champs at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Get towards these tournaments. So I think having that time where you can, have a break, go away, spend some time at home, just hanging out, not thinking about the game, definitely think it's crucial.
Well, I'm sure some teams will be doing that after this weekend. Octane with the Trinity forcing players out. That is a game. That is a game that ended 250-77 in favor of LG.
Yep.
Like clockwork for them when it comes to Hardpoint.
Yeah, you expected Luminosity to take care of business in Hardpoint.
Yep.
After that loss earlier to Fnatic, you looked at this matchup and they were coming out for blood. They dominate game 1 here against MindFreak.
Oh, I walked backstage. I was looking for Tommy after he got that game 5 round 11 clutch. I wanted his autograph, which I did get. I was trying to find him, and I walked towards the back area of the venue, and LG were kind of having a little bit of a team meeting, and they were definitely, I could tell, fired up after that loss. Did not want to go home without a perfect record. That's obviously the case now, as they are 4-1, looking to go 5-1. But they've had a lot of smooth sailing in the last few months, to where a test like that, I think, definitely kind of got them back down to earth.
And LG is a team that we've been saying for a while. They're a top team. They can win tournaments, and these guys have been so close in the past. Remember when Octane slacked in Classic Run Rise Nation last year? Very close to winning tournaments consistently. I think now that they've kind of tasted a little bit of that, they do not want to let that up. They want to keep grinding. They want to keep putting the pressure on these other teams to get better and outgun them game to game.
Yeah.
I think losing that series, they get back into the back and they have a team chat, and they're probably saying, hey, look, we're not coming out. We're not dropping another map against MindFreak. We're winning that series, and then we're coming to playoffs. We're taking another championship.
And the frustrating thing, we've seen it a few times this weekend for, honestly, almost every team outside of LG, where it just seems like there's a player falling behind. MindFreak, it plagues them almost every respawn, it seems. Obviously, Buzzo a lot of the times, but even there, Fighter wasn't having a great game. Nagafen had it in the first Hardpoint in the last series, where he was like 7-24. What do you even do if you're a player in that scenario? How do you get out of a situation like that? I don't even know how that happens.
It's tough. You just kind of get caught in like the rhythm of the game and spawns and positioning and other players flying at you and they have the advantage. It's very difficult to kind of turn that around.
Yeah.
I think this game, more than any game that we've had in the past, is so kill dependent.
It's unforgiving.
Like it's unforgiving. That's the exact word I was going to use. Is that when you have a player who's not able to pick up kills and you're not really doing much for the team, there's not like other ways you can really contribute, especially in a game mode like Hardpoint. Like, it's very difficult. Like, what is that player doing? Maybe, winning some one-on-ones on rotation, maybe, picking up a big kill here for some hill time, but it hurts the play of the rest of the team. It brings everybody down.
Yeah, well, we see players getting ready for Game 2, Search and Destroy. If you're just tuning in, this is the red group here in the CWL Global Pro League Stage 2, Week 1. We're in the final day of matches. Third to last match of the day. This one between two teams that already have their spots secured, both on the opposite ends of the totem pole. LG in first, MindFreak in that last spot in fourth. For MindFreak, obviously it means they're not going to be at playoffs. For positioning in the groups at champs, you know exactly where they'll fall into play?
It does affect where they position in groups at champs. Merc can definitely break that down. But I believe the bottom teams in each group will play one of the top 4 from playoffs.
Wow.
In groups at champs. So, getting in that bottom spot. Yeah, Merc can definitely confirm that. I believe that's what it is. But
that sounds right.
If you're a MindFreak, it's tough. Because you may end up going against a team like Luminosity, Optic Gaming, Splice, your Phases, E United. It's like one of those top teams in the first round. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, I remember those 8 groups at champs later on this year. So much to look forward to. We just, I believe, finished off the weekend out there in Europe for the last chance qualifiers. Congratulations to the 6 teams there who made it on through. Monster momentous occasion for those players to make it into arguably one of the biggest Call of Duty events of all time.
So it's interesting. I saw, I believe it was an article with Deserto, as an interview with Shane. And Shane, Tommy, and Clayster, the only ones that have played at every, CODChamp/XP event.
Including this upcoming year.
Yes. So that goes all the way back to the one that I believe Merc won. 2011.
Wow.
So Shane, Tommy, and Clayster are the only 3 players who have played at every single one. That's a huge accomplishment for those guys.
Better half of a decade they've been playing at $1 million tournaments. Insane stuff. Here we go, though, for Game 2. Both of these teams will be at the $1.5 million tournament later this year at Champs. MindFreak going with their normal strategy on this map. Fast plant over at that A site, and you push through to Cathedral.
It's going to be 2 kills for LG as they run on through, and See how they decide to break this. Fighter's going to get called out. Classic tried to slide in, not able to win the second gunfight against Saints. Would have been a big gunfight. Octane looks at Buzzo, hits the delete button.
Yep.
It'll be Luminosity taking round 1.
That's like one of those where if I'm Buzzo, I see the name Octane over that player and just run away.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what else. I don't know what to do there if you're Buzzo. I mean, you have 2 players coming at you. You see Octane there with the NV4. I mean, that you poke out for a second, you're dead.
Octane's such a jolly kid.
He's a great guy.
He is. He's someone who's really grown on me. He doesn't go 7-21 at the start of respawns like Nagafen. So he wins in my book.
You and Nagafen have a very volatile relationship.
You know what? He's jealous of my skill, you know. I've taught him everything he knows in Search and Destroy.
I highly doubt all of that.
Here we go, though, as Saints. He's going to be the first player inside Bike. Challenging for LG. Oh, nearly gets that kill. No idea how that almost worked out. Thankfully, Slacked. It's always Slacked who seems to be there for the 2-piece that swings the trade in his team's favor. And just like that, again, it's Octane with a teammate in a 2v1 at the end of the round.
LG's just running at them. Just charging forward, trying to fight these gunfights as fast as possible. The bomb will go down. It's going to be Octane looking over. Slacked. Now Den's in a very difficult spot in the 1v2.
Still has time to work with. Thankfully, if you look at your minimap, he doesn't know it yet, but we have full knowledge that both these players are quite close to each other, so there's an opportunity to at least pick up both. You see him at the back tree, he does, but again, Octane, he's not going to miss.
There you go.
I wish I never saw that handshake.
They've been doing that all day.
Yeah, I actually wish my eyes didn't see that.
Did you see the one where Saints, like, we showed him, like, he had his fist out with the thumb up for, like, forever?
God.
They needed to wait for Octane and Slack to figure out their handshake before he can get the fist bump.
I feel like a less of a person after seeing that. But can we possibly bring up the classes of LG, Mr. Bryant Saint? Can we possibly see their loadout to see exactly what they're rocking with? Or is it, oh, we're looking for, I believe, the loadout button. Oh, look, there we go. L.
We're gonna find it.
Hit L. There we go. And then go to LG. We're making plays here. See, okay. So I wanted to spot, because if LG are going to be flying at you, maybe tacticals are best, but they're making sure they rock blast shield. They've got tac mask. They're ready for anything that can be thrown at them.
Yeah, they're not going to let any of that affect them. Now, MindFreak gets the bomb down at B. Here comes the assault from Luminosity. It's a kill from Saints, traded out there by Octane.
2v1 again.
Yep. LG playing these trades perfectly. Fida just trying to get lost here. Picks up one.
Yo, Fida with the 1v2. Hits some great shots down to the site, gets away with his life, and then, honestly, love the confidence here to re-challenge this angle. I mean, if I'm Classic, I would never expect him to play that like that, especially where he can just run away, play the time on the bomb. Beautiful stuff right there by Fida to put MindFreak on the board.
So now MindFreak trying to come back in Search and Destroy. It'll be Luminosity on offense. Looks like just going to go straight down towards B. MindFreak's going to be pretty aggressive here, getting into bike shot.
And this is what you can do now with the updated spawns. Saints is here, though, every single time. Gets the player weak. They try to peek on out to get the kill, but look, Slack has to fall back. Fida, though, with the aggression, gets first blood for his team. As Buzzo and crew, they're doing a great job of bait and switching here on lower street.
Yeah, now it's going to be a 1v3 in favor of MindFreak. An opportunity to tie up game number 2. It's going to be Octane, though. The last one up. He's going to spot nobody down at the B site. May make his way down over, trying to get the bomb and get it down.
4-1 start from him. There's the objective. 35 seconds left, too. So, I mean, if he plants for market, realistically, there's a chance. But I think that's his only shot. Yeah, he knows that, too. He can't play inside bike with an NB4 or go top plat. This is too easy to get shot at. At least if he goes up towards market, he gives himself a chance to make some kills happen on the stairwell. So here it goes for the 1v3. Oh, gosh, and he's sprinting right towards the player. Yep, that's an NV4 versus an ERAD at 3 feet away. Fida should win that 10 out of 10 times.
Now it's going to be MindFreak. Back-to-back rounds here. They will not go away in Search and Destroy.
No.
It's just been the respawns that have plagued them. You know, it's been a rough time in the respawn game modes for MF. They have definitely looked more competitive in the S&Ds.
which you'd expect, obviously, for what this Luminosity team is capable of. But at the same time, it's like, if you want to qualify for playoffs, you need to be able to put up a fight in respawn game modes. It's simple as that. When you don't, we saw their stat line earlier. It was like coming into today, they were 25% win rate in S&D, Hardpoint, and Uplink. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. And it's why they're going to finish 4th in this group.
I mean, there's a lot that goes into, obviously playing Call of Duty at the highest level. But if you can just get players that can kill extremely well, you can teach or figure out everything else.
Yeah.
Like, you just need players who can just slay. And I think, when you don't have a full lineup that's really capable, it's going to be difficult. But MindFreak, they take this round in S&D. They go up by 1 round, 3 in a row here for MF.
Let's go, MindFreak. I'm loving it. I'm about to go home and get my jersey.
Oh, yeah, you do have a MindFreak jersey.
I have a MindFreak jersey and a Fnatic jersey. No LG jersey, though. So
I don't have any jerseys.
I've been collecting.
Yeah, I'm 28. I can't wear jerseys anymore.
Wait, was that like a rule somewhere?
Yeah. Like once you hit a certain age, like you can't wear basketball jerseys. Like,
have I hit that age yet?
No. You're
okay,
good.
So I got
You're
to
good.
like, what, 25?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
yeah, about 25.
I've got a couple more years, so.
It's like the cutoff.
Orgs, feel free to send them on over. I'll make the most of them.
And you can send me them.
I just won't wear them. They'll just sit in my drawer, but.
Yeah,
Slacked is surrounded by MindFreak players, and somehow they haven't challenged towards Plat. Another first blood, though, for Fighter. That's his 3rd this game.
I think what you may be seeing is Luminosity just getting a little too confident, challenging everything at the beginning of these games, letting MindFreak get some first bloods. But look at the position that Slack's in. He's going to be able to get one more player behind him. A nice beat down there from Classic. He's going to come through, take out one more player. I believe Saints picks up a kill in the bike shop as well. Good round there from LG.
Players that are so good at that shot beatdown really give themselves such an advantage in close range scenarios. Right there, Classic, 1 bullet, beatdown. It looks like an instant kill. And it basically is.
Basically is, yeah.
As that swings the round in favor of LG, as they'll now bring this one back to 3-3. Still a close game. Fighter already with reactive armor and full streaks, which is huge on a map like Retaliation. Completely forces the hand of your opponent.
Those can definitely be useful.
They can
later in the game.
I don't get them much, so.
Oh, well.
I would have known firsthand, but.
Nothing's going to happen with him this round.
Yeah, right.
He's already dead.
That is the best player you could first blood right there.
Walking down the middle of the street.
No one watching his plat.
Not an ideal position there with nobody up at plat. But BMF, they push all the way through in towards Market. But now the bomb's down in that middle street, and Buzzo's trying to locate this player up top, but under a minute to go. Down a man, they're going to have to make a play here. It looks like they want to push all the way through Market, but even if they do, they don't have the bomb. They still have to work their way back towards mid-map for bomb.
Buzzo gets tagged once, so they know there's someone at the bottom arch stairs. The rotation has begun. Now it's like a re-wrap, because look where the bomb is down at. These guys haven't spotted each other for the last 25 seconds. Shox is not ready for this, though. 3 players from LG here. Yeah, he's done the right thing by just getting away. Still, though, so little time in this round. MindFreak are taking forever, Matt.
Yeah, LG knows the bomb is down. You see the way they're set up, slacked on the minimap. You see number 7, he can see Plat. You can see where the bomb is. Be dense with first blood, though. They able to take out Slacked. MindFreak trying to turn it around. They get Buzzo onto bomb. He's able to get it down.
This is absolutely winnable.
Absolutely.
Den's in a solid spot. That was how?
Yep, and LG takes that round.
That went.
Yeah, I mean, that's a difficult position, right?
Absolutely.
Denz has a lot of players flying in front of him. Lands a lot of shots on 2 players, not able to finish anybody off, but comes out of that top hotel. He's behind 3 players.
Now, what do you do if you're MindFreak with these streaks? Do you stack in towards Bike again? Do you expect LG to flood that? You can obviously use them to clear top bridge. That's not the case. It's more, how do we want to try to stop this LG push from going through it? I mean, yeah, I think Bike is the best way they can play this.
Yeah, LG is going to play pretty aggressive towards mid-map. Try and get up on top plat, and I can actually hear Slack. So they spotted all these guys. They know exactly where they are. And they're actually going to play for the cutoffs here coming off the backside of this, which I like. Because they're expecting the MindFreak to rotate all the way through that top side. Here comes the streak. Everybody inside hotels, so they bait the streak out. Everybody stays alive. Some time gets wasted off the clock, but that's a good play there by LG. They get that 1 streak off of Fighter.
1 streak down, still possible round win here. And they've got the free plant. They've got the free plant right now. This is the best thing that can happen. They're already set up to defend this site too. And you can see the fidget spinner on the minimap rotating towards curve. That should be a first blood now as, yeah, Slack gets tagged up by that, stunned a little bit. It's gonna be enough to clear that up. Octane with camo might need to use it this round to secure the victory.
They back Octane all the way out.
Do they drop bombardment? Do you just drop bombardment right here so they can't defend the bomb? Oh my goodness.
Oh my. Still a nice play with camo though. Take some time off the clock. Saints here in the 1v2, not able to win the gunfight, and it should be Fighter. Yep, on bomb. Able to get the defuse. So MF comes up big there, wins that round, and Octane burns the camo. But on the side of MF, you did burn the Trinity and you used Scarab.
Is that one though where maybe you just want to see Octane, maybe you won't have enough time to do it, but just like run into curve? Because MindFreak had just cleared all of curve and hotel to think that's all good to go. What if he just runs in and hides in curve, plays out the 5 more seconds, and then just kills the guy going for the defuse? He had that chance. They would have had no idea he was there.
So you're saying camo go all the way
just
through
run
curve
straight
and
through.
just like, he could have just laid down.
Yeah, they already cleared
They would have had no idea
Yep.
he was there, yeah.
But the only thing is, he was about to run out with it, so I don't know if he could have made it around the corner without being spotted.
Especially because I believe Den's the guy he kills kind of backs up into him in the corner, so I think he probably needed to kill that guy.
I think the car exploding kind of scared him for a second. He was like, I see you do something with this.
Yeah.
Either way, it's still a tie game, 4-4 now. Camo gone, Trinity Rocket gone from either side. Still though with bombardment. That's huge. And reactive armor. Fighter's just got to stay alive. He cannot be first blooded like we saw earlier on.
Well, they've done a nice job getting the bomb out of his hands. Now he's set up in a good spot. Slack though, coming down, and Fighter gets first blooded again. 2 of the easiest kills of Slack's life. Make it 3.
Okay, Slack.
He just, as soon as he knew where Dens was, he's like, I'm going to challenge this.
Dude, if you're LG right now, you keep fighting. That's 2 of 3 rounds where he's had full streaks and reactive where he's been first blooded.
That means to stay alive.
Yeah. They played it perfectly. What LG did right there was they knew, or they expected Fighter to be holding that corner in bedroom. So they had one player slide up to the door and begin to just pre-fire while the other teammate slid underneath him who was slacked to get the first kill. What does Fighter do now with reactive armor and bombardment? I think you just stay alive and mark it. Yeah, this is exactly how you need to play this. Literally just be the last person who can be shot at on the map.
Just wait until you can use that bombardment. Slack just uses FTL
yes,
to get
so this is a strategy that LG have employed before. They wind up popping the FTL jump as a means of closing the gap in towards bedroom, but Slack is so worried about a passive play towards this area of the map that he actually does nothing with it as of yet. But Bombardment called in, will the bomb be planted? The bomb does get planted in time, and they'll all get out with their life. Yep, so great, you called in bombardment, it's gonna do nothing for your team.
So now he's got to make a play with reactive, but he goes into bedroom. They have no idea Slack's in this corner, he's gonna drop.
No, he saw him.
Oh, now he saw him. Did he? He did.
Oh, barely gets the kill. Saints makes it a 2-on-2. Reactive armor for himself. Dens all alone. FTL jumps forward, 1 versus 1. Dens gets his health back and still win this gunfight. Classic cleans it up. LG win 2 straight rounds, 3 straight rounds, to now go up 2-0 in our best of 5. Great
tough loss there.
Saints.
Oh, it was beautiful by Saints. That's a game-saving play there as Fighter comes out, pops his reactive. He comes out of the window, thinks he's going to kill Saints. Saints pops reactive armor. He gets a 2-piece of his own. Classic hunts down Dens at the end. It's a good win there for LG. Tough loss for MF.
I'm wondering if Saints earned the reactive armor off that kill.
It may have been.
One shot. You know, Fighter's getting the call out. I think he still made the right play, right? Going for the FTL jump, challenging right away. But man, that reactive armor saves the day right there for LG as they'll take the search and destroy. They're now up 2-0 as we head into uplink. I mean, I think everyone expected this to end into 3-0. You've got an angry LG coming into this match. You've got already fourth place MindFreak. You've kind of got to reset. Either way, though, we still got one more map, at least in this best of 5. For now, we'll go to a quick break. And when we come back, the coverage of the CWL Stage 2 Red Group will continue here on MLG.TV. It's a series, so that means we've got a G Fuel key player matchup. It's between the two guys who arguably had the best performances for their respective squads in Stage 1. Shocks and Octane, electric players across the board, but Uplink, they've been quite consistent throughout the weekend. Shocks leading his team at a 1.09 Uplink KD, while Octane's just been doing his job, putting up barely any points, but his KD is where it needs to be. Will Shocks be able to help his team go for a reverse sweep? I'll be honest, probably not. Either way, Octane looking to continue this dominant performance for LG this weekend. They're on the verge of a 5-1 series total count. This has been your G Fuel key player matchup.
Up until this point, I think the MVP and IW would have to be Octane.
Probably between Formal and Octane.
I would say Octane. Have to be Octane.
I think he's really performed to the top level. I think he's consistently been good at 2 or 3 events in a row. And I think if he can keep it up, I'd definitely put him up there.
It used to be Gunless, but obviously with Gunless sitting out the last event, you kind of just forgot about him almost. I think with him coming back to FaZe, I think he's going to give them a run for their money in terms of the MVP performance, but we'll have to wait and see.
Probably has to go to 0. I mean, he's remained so consistent every single event. I think Splice have been top 4, top 2, first, so they've had a very consistent run, and 0 has been one of the main reasons.
It's the final day of competition here in the red group of the CWL Global Pro League Stage 2 presented by PS4. And that man on your screen was the one referenced a hell of a lot in that MVP of Infinite Warfare. Matt, if you had to pick one, is it Octane or is it too close to call quite yet?
I think it's probably Octane.
Ooh!
Yeah. I think just, the last few events, he's just been, he's really been really consistent in the respawn game modes.
Yeah.
It's just fixing the S&D. That's been the real big difference for him. And you've seen, when, he's playing well, Luminosity is playing well S&D, they're going to consistently be at the top. And I think he's a big reason why. Who would yours be?
Right now, I'm leaning towards Octane as well. And one thing I do want to mention, which I think you'll enjoy as well, when you think back to Black Ops 3 last year, Octane with his role on Rise, a lot of times his team could rely on him to be the solo guy at a site. When you think of Hunted, he would be the guy all the way down in that cave by himself to take on a 4-man push. When you think of what we've seen from him now on Breakout, Search and Destroy, he's the guy by himself watching middle map. There are few players in competitive Call of Duty that you can trust to lock down an entire lane on their own, or 2 lanes for how Luminosity likes to play some S&D maps. For me right now, for how consistent Octane has become, for his ability to just shoot so damn well, and now for what he's been able to help do with this Luminosity team, they have a great opportunity to not only steamroll Stage 2, but potentially get a champs title.
And I think you look at the role he plays too. I think I would kind of throw that into where I would look at MVP considerations, because the NV4 obviously very good at range. We see a lot of players on the KVAR, the ERAD. It's very difficult to be good at range. So I think it's a role that it's not as replaceable as somebody else. So I would definitely put a little bit more value on that.
Yeah. I've seen a bunch of people run ERADs, but the NV4 is something different. Knowing how to position yourself, obviously hit the shots in general. Right now for Frost Uplink, this is a map that they love to put the hurt on. I can tell you that, Matt. We'll see if they can do it here. As MindFreak, this could be the last map they play here this weekend, or really in Stage 2, because they're obviously not going to qualify for playoffs.
But we have seen MindFreak excel at these really fast-paced maps. You see Den's getting off to a nice start, 4-1 on a 4 streak now, working towards the Scarab, only 25 points away. We've seen them have success on Throwback Uplink and Throwback Hardpoint. It's really been the maps where Retaliation and Breakout, Crusher for Search and Destroy. Those are the maps that we've seen MindFreak struggle on.
Well, Shocks, he's already got some help from his teammate inside this ship bay area. Den's now 5-2. I love this pinch, but unfortunately it's Classic who spins with the help of Saints to clean up that kill. 3 now dead. Here come the ERADs of LG as they begin to storm forward.
Yeah, if you're Luminosity, I'd consider going and doing something what Splice does, is just run 4 ERADs and just fly. Just go with them.
Yeah.
Force MindFreak to fight as many gunfights as you can. You like your chances if you're LG in that type of a game. But MindFreak starting to come alive here. 3 in a row for Dens.
This is
2 in a row for Shocks. This is points.
I mean, well, it should be, yeah. There's at least one. Octane with the E-Rad. What's funny is, so far, we have the player lounge here, right? We have the player warm-up area too, and from all the times I've watched these players warm up this weekend, you know, get ready for their matches, I've seen Octane warm up more with an E-Rad than his NV4.
Really?
And I've joked with him about it. He's like, oh, bro, I'm a perma-rad now, meaning like he'll only use the E-Rad. I think he just loves using the weapon. It lets him play at such a different pace and play style. It's almost refreshing for him, right? He's used to having a left trigger at all times. Now he can just run around free all around the map.
He's like, I want to charge in with you guys.
Yeah, right?
I'm bored all the way back here just killing everybody. I want to be up front killing everybody.
And that's what he's doing right now. At 9 and 6, leading his team in kills. LG not able to put a point through yet, even though they've been forward with this drone for the last, 30, 40 seconds. Thankfully, for MindFreak fans, they will get that stop. Now the Aussies will go on the offensive as it's Dens with this drone.
And this is a game where you're seeing Dens play up to his potential. We talked about it, they pick him up. A lot of people think he's the best player in the ANZ region. But, he's had some up and down games so far at this event. And I think it's just because the quality of games he's gotten in before this. I mean, he's battling through the open bracket. Tainted Minds, they don't make it into groups. I know they play at one Australian event. I believe they got second to MindFreak. It was like they played 3 times. They played like the winner. I think they played in the grand final and then the winter final and 2 series in the grand finals. But other than that, I mean, he has not had a ton of games against top players. So Den's probably trying to get a little reacclimated to the game himself.
Which is absolutely nuts there. Whew, both players get themselves down to a sliver of health, but it's Octane with the help with the K-bar now, bringing out some of those ARs. Help them from range, and just like that, 4 dead, LG pushing forward. This is that second wave of kills we talk about now. Because it's Frost, you've got to drop that drone. If you want to sneak by with a 1, you can, but a lot of teams, they want the dunk. That botched 1-point play might wind up helping in the end, as this drone won't get reset, and the armor saves the player to see another day.
For a second there, it looked like they were attempting a pass, maybe.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what happened, where they may have called out, like, pass it, pass it, pass it, and Classic was already kind of shooting, and then shooting the drone, and then maybe tried to, like, relocate his aimer, and it threw off his shot. So maybe he already had the idea that he was going to throw it in,
and
instead just tried to manually throw it to the guy, and it just kind of went off.
It definitely, I had that same feeling as well. Slacked with 2 with the help of Saints. Vita should be cleaned up. There goes MindFreak, 1-1 with 35 seconds left in the first half. Luminosity, what do they try to do now as we head towards not only halftime, but side 2 of this map where you expect them to begin to turn up? Again, this isn't the first time we've seen from MindFreak where their slaying is even early in a game. Will LG, though, begin to kick it into gear as we move towards the second half of this one?
Slacked on this 4th street. As it knows there's one more player on that bottom wall run, they pass the drone forward. And they know, MindFreak, that the drone isn't on the wall run. Shocks falls off the map. It's Slack trying to run this one by some players in for 2. And Octane almost gets blessed there. He almost picks up both kills and has the drone throw at him. That would have been points. But we'll go into half number 2. The score all tied up at 1 apiece.
That's the best thing you could ask for if you're MindFreak. Going into side 2, giving yourself a chance in this game. We'll see it again at the end from Shocks. Some crispy shots onto Classic there. If you're MindFreak, is it time to pick me up on their team, Matt?
No. They're a ways away from that.
Yeah, are you sure?
Yep, pretty sure. You need a visa as well. Be a very difficult process.
I played 1 map of Pro Player 8s earlier this weekend. I was 18 and 29.
Okay.
With 1 minute and 1 second in the hard point.
All right.
My team lost by 90, and I never earned camo.
Yeah, no. He definitely wouldn't make the cut.
It's basically what Fight has done for most hard points for his team.
That's definitely not true.
Yeah, no.
He's been significantly better than
He actually has. I don't even know where I'm going with this. But now Classic with the drone. 10 and 14, doing what he does best. Helping his team win. Trying to find out if there's a clear lane here. It looks like he'll get the green light now as Octane and Slack have cleared out 2. 1 player inside AC now dead. This should be a dunk from Classic to put LG up by 2 points, their largest lead of the game.
Just such a good play from Luminosity. Classic with the drone in hand, just kind of bobs and weaves in and out, gives some easy kills to Slack and Octane. And they're able to put that 2 points on the board. This is what I was talking about with Maeve. It's so difficult for MindFreak when they find themselves down to like mount comebacks. Like they're pretty good playing from ahead, right? But when they find themselves down, you just don't know where that flurry of kills and where that aggression is coming from.
Is MindFreak a team that you think would improve greatly from a solid coach? Or is this just straight up gun skill? and just not having exactly that in their favor.
I think it's just, it would have to be just a commitment to another type of play style.
Okay.
Like what they're doing just isn't working. And it seems like they just kind of keep doing the same thing over and over again. So it would, you would need to change out a lot, I think, you know, in just terms of style of play.
Boom. I just, your contract's on the table. You're officially the coach of MindFreak. What's the first thing you're doing?
I mean, I just tell everybody just go faster. a lot of the times, I mean, we jump on with them and you just see like kind of pre-aim in corners and whatnot. Like, but this game is played so fast, and I feel like the movers, like the players actually, the players actively like on the move have the advantage in a lot of these fights. So when you're kind
sliding and stuff like that, I mean, yeah.
When you're not using the movement mechanics, you're at such a disadvantage as a one-point play goes in there for LG. That I'm not going to say it's the difference between a lot of these gunfights. We'll look at it right there. Classic just slides in. It'll get that kill easy. Like, we don't usually see that from everybody on MindFreak. You see it from some players, but it just needs to be faster. Faster and on the same page. Just more teamwork, just more comms.
When you watch some of the best players, you'll notice that if they have even a thought that there could be a player around a corner, they're sliding that corner. Yeah. You know, they're not just challenging by sprinting. As another dunk goes in, now 7-1. They're sliding that corner, unless they have full peace of mind.
Well, that's one of the things I think Gunless is great at. I mean, when you watch Gunless play, we'll see him next week with FaZe, then just pay attention to his gameplay. It's like always sliding. Like, I think I remember Hook, how good he was with the dash in AW. I would say Gunless is as good with the slide here in IW.
Octane still just holding his base. 2 minutes left for the hopes of MindFreak if they want to force a game 4. As Shox moves forward with this SMG. Erad in hand. That's one of those where you get 3 players in front of you. You really don't know who to shoot. Still super close to that active camo. The difference, though, in sides, I feel like LG just plays so much better from this area. And so much of it, for me, just comes down to the fact that they stop moving the drone towards Cliff. They bring it in towards ship and force the up-close, fast-paced engagements.
Yeah, I mean, they have the lead. There's nothing else they really need to do, right? It just seems like they're kind of just roaming around the mid-map, playing for kills right now. You see Classic on a 4 streak, Octane on a 3 streak. Classic pops camo. Should be the one making the play here. It's going to get very close to running out, and he dives in. Tries to go with a melee as well, but puts 2 points on the board. 9-1 in favor of Luminosity. And you got to say, you know, when you asked me about like Coach of MindFreak and whatnot, now the one thing Excite did bring to this team, he was very fast, aggressive with the ERAD and all the game modes, just kept putting the pressure on, made it a little bit easier on the other guys.
He was basically first at all times into the fray. Shox in the wall run will make it. Oh, they blocked him. They body blocked him. They stacked the portal.
They are so good on the defense.
If you didn't know, if you have a body on the defensive team in the portal as the offensive player with the drone tries to go for the dunk, it will not convert. It's basically like a form of goaltending. They wind up stopping the drone from scoring. Here comes the long throw from Octane. Intercepted either way, 20 seconds left. GG's. LG will end the red group at 5-1. And now, Matt, the match we're all waiting for. Up next, EG versus Fnatic. The fight for second place will get ready to be set up.
It's going to be a fantastic match. EG versus Fnatic to figure out who moves on to the playoffs, earning second place here in week 1. But it's Luminosity taking this series against MindFreak, securing that #1 spot here in week #1, the red group.
Oh, yeah. And they shouldn't have lost to Fnatic earlier. I don't think they believe that. They messed up a little bit in that series. They threw away the S&D. They were not comfortable at all. It looked on Precinct Uplink when they dropped that map, going for some unorthodox routes through Cherry Blossom. Maybe they were trying things. I have no idea. But either way, LG end the weekend with a quick 3-0, back on track, as they most certainly look like the far best team in this group.
And this is a team that's going to go home, and you know, I said maybe some teams they take a week off. I don't think this team will. This team just loves to grind. Like, they play so much that they are going to come into playoffs very prepared.
They've got some time, though, until playoffs. Obviously, a ton of Call of Duty for them to watch alongside us. But for now, our analysts want to break down that quick 3-0 sweep.
Thank you so much, fellas. All right, MindFreak, they fall to the bottom of the group. It's official. It's locked in. Luminosity 5-1 as we expected. After their loss to Fnatic this morning, they rebound. Hot 3-0. Let's start with game #1 here, fellas. The hard point on Breakout. You look at the matchup, You have to think that LG has them outgunned. That's kind of how it played out, Joe.
Oh, absolutely. Just going into this, we knew Breakout Hardpoint was going to be Luminosity just destroyed. I mean, even since Anaheim, this has been one of their best maps. I know they've like 250 to 80, like teams like Evil Geniuses. They're just so good on this map, and it's because Classic, he can run the NV4. Obviously, you have Octane do it, and then Slacked and Saints just put so much pressure on the map. As you can see, 127 and 26 at this point already. They're just so good at rotating to these hills, and they don't always have to rotate. Because of their gun skill, they can easily break hills. And again, just that slaying power is just too much for MindFreak to handle.
Classic was a monster to open things up. He goes on a 7 streak. At this point in the game, he's 17 and 8. The rest of his team starts heating up towards the end, but I never felt like anyone from MindFreak was able to generate any momentum. Why do they have so much trouble when you match up against a team like Luminosity, team?
It's just the well-roundedness overall. Every one of those players on LG, they seem to have like a similar KD when it comes to hardpoint. You can look at the KD there, though. Octane with a 2.33 over 2 minutes in the hill. Just unbelievable stuff overall. But the fact that they're able to stay together and basically always team shot, the amount of assists they get overall, team shooting with each other, it just makes the map so much easier to lock down overall. And then Classic, when he's been playing like this, he's probably the MVP for me throughout this. They got the #1 seed here. That guy's been unbelievable.
Classic playing insane. Let's talk game number 2, though. Search and Destroy. It's on Retaliation. MindFreak, they play tough Search once again. They didn't jump out to a hot 3-0 start like we've seen in the past, but they kind of stuck in this one toe-and-toe. You saw Octane, he was 4-1 on the other side. Fighter was the player to watch in the first half, Momo.
Yeah, Fighter, for me, again, we talked about Classic having a very good weekend. Fighter has been MindFreak's best player in my eyes. You know, we talk about Dens a lot. You know, Shocked had a great stage 1, but Fighter's been kind of dragging his team through, and he's been doing good stuff. And as you see here, MindFreak 3-2 up. They're pushing teams on Search and Destroy, and I've said time and time again, the Australians pride themselves on their S&D and really believed in the past that teams have stolen their strats in a way. I'm not sure that's the case here. However, LG, they kind of close things out, and it's that kind of mentality again, LG. You never have that 1v1 with an LG player. They fly around together. They make the 4v4s just in their favor every single time. First Bloods, of course, been very important for these guys. Slacked here.
That's ridiculous.
Play. Yeah, that was kind of...
I got this, guys. Don't worry.
Well, let me just shoot across the map with this E-Rad and finish off the triple. Final round, you see it coming through. MindFreak trying to fight it out, and at the end, you have Fighter. He drops 10 kills. On the other side, you had Saints dropping 10 kills, but just so much more support from the LG squad.
Yeah, I just mean every time you watch just one of those clips, there's 3 or 4 Luminosity just together. They're always together. You saw Fnatic just sort of be able to break that strategy. You heard Parasite talk about it, the way they play S&D, sort of extend the rounds out. That's what you have to be able to do if you want to beat Luminosity. You have to get those first bloods, make that 4v3 in your favor, extend those rounds out. MindFreak's just not able to do that.
And then, of course, we had the uplink. At this point, MindFreak knows they're done. You could see kind of the pain in their eyes on the stage. Everyone's just so frustrated. They've been over in America. They've been practicing in Atlanta. They're coming off a rough time in Anaheim, and they really wanted to make a statement this weekend. They did so on day 1, but after that, really no success, guys. And when you watch them versus Luminosity and uplink, again, it's the slaying battle that was a one-sided affair. Fighter stays consistent. You got some decent number from Dens. Shocks is going to top the leaderboard at the end with a 1.05, but it's 9-1. Simply a blowout here from LG.
Yeah, just easy games overall. And I feel like in uplink throughout this group thus far, I feel like LG hasn't been respecting teams a lot besides Frost. I think Frost is by far away their best uplink. Freesync used to be, but for whatever reason, they seem to be trying to move a little bit too quickly. But against a team like MindFreak, where they have that just immense slaying advantage, they can kind of just do whatever they want, and then in that second half they just sort of run away with it.
I think one of the biggest takeaways for me, though, is look out for Luminosity when we do get to champs, when we do get to the playoffs here for stage 2. Their uplink game has been really impressive. Their defensive uplink game in particular. How many times do you see the squad get wiped and then all of a sudden they break off spawn and they stop you at the goal line? Very impressive stuff as they finish out their weekend. Let's talk about LG, though. This is the squad that is moving on to play in our playoffs. $500,000 up for grabs. Last time, they got knocked out by Splice, a Game 5 of the Grand Finals. Are they going to be the team to beat right now, guys? How high should we be ranking them after watching them here in groups?
I think you can argue them and Splice are probably top 2 teams in the world right now. And it's been forever since we've said anybody, outside of Optic, E-United, we're putting Luminosity, Splice up there because why? They're the last 2 grand finals. Those are the 2 teams in it. You can argue Splice, but I would say definitely right now Luminosity is the best team in the world. But I don't want that to get to their heads. They're a type of team who grinds. You heard sort of Matt talking about it. They love to play Call of Duty. Expect them to be back in the playoffs.
Momo?
I've got to agree. I put Luminosity at #1 in the world right now, and you know that's coming from a European. You know, I'm a big fan of Splice, but LG, they're super strong. What has been kind of bad for LG? Obviously, Octane had I'm not too clued up on it, but a bit of sickness this weekend. We've not seen the best out of him, and they still do what they did this weekend. It's enabled us to see what a fantastic player Classic is. We've seen, you know, everyone going off. Saints was kind of one of the players to watch as well, and from that, I've just kind of got to know LG a bit more because all of the focus is so much on Octane. Now after this weekend, I've almost just become Classic's biggest fan. I will be honest, and kind of watching these 4 play. When a weekend when Octane is feeling his best, these guys are so dangerous.
Welcome to the Nicky D fan club. Classic has been the man for a while. TP, just to close out the thoughts here, we know Luminosity now has 3 weeks off. They get to watch blue, yellow, and the green group. Do you think they need to worry about what the opponents are going to be doing, or is this a squad that just needs to focus on their game?
I think they need to keep on focusing on what they're doing and keep that confidence up overall. But I think some of the glaring issues I've seen throughout this group, you know, they didn't make too many, and the slaying has been unbelievable from these guys. But I feel like in Uplink especially, they try and move a little bit too quickly, like going back to my point before. And then Search and Destroy, I don't want them to go back to those glaring issues that they had. There's certain Search and Destroys where they sort of let the rounds get away from them a little bit too quickly. And if they continue that, you know, these top teams can really steal maps from them. So
shout out to Luminosity. They topped the group, and they are the first team to lock in their spot in the $500,000 playoff for Stage 2. Here's a look at how the group has unraveled so far. 5-1, Luminosity. They lock in with a 17-7 map count, 70%, not bad on the weekend. Fnatic currently holds down that 2nd position, EG right behind them at 2-3, and then MindFreak, they are finished, winning just 4 maps here in our first week of group competition. But coming up next, we find out who is going to join Luminosity in that playoff bracket. Is it Fnatic? Is it EG? We'll tell you how it has to break down, what is going to happen. Before we get to that match, though, we want to celebrate some of the big winners at home, the guys who have been playing along on the enhanced viewer experience on MLG.TV. We've been quizzing you every single game, and our first question here in this match was, will any player finish with over 1:45 of hardpoint time? 66% of you got it right. It was Octane doing the dirty work there. Coming in, question 2, will any player finish with over 10 kills in Game 2 Search and Destroy? Only 23% of you got this right. The answer, no. And finally, what will be the score difference in Game 3? Well, 82% of you guys, you went with 5 points or more, and you are correct. Well done. And I have a feeling we're going to see our friend Zeb at the top of the leaderboard. He was there on day 1. He was there on day 2. Let's see the leaderboard for day 3. It's Zebster. Shout out to the 1-2-2-1. Anyone else on this list impressing you with their funny names, Momo?
Well, I mean, we talked about Chance yesterday. He's fell down the list a little bit. He's still in there at number 10. But other than that, it's good to see some newcomers coming in. I think Brian's a new addition, but so many people on a 7 streak. I think Zebster just kind of claims that number 1 spot, though.
Welcome back.
Mastermind.
Welcome back to the top 10, Wolfie. Zebster 1-2-2-1. He is the man to beat in the group stages here of the CWL Global Pro League. If you haven't found out about it yet, head over to MLG.TV/COD. Check out the enhanced viewing experience, up-to-date event statistics. You can watch all the featured players' POVs, and of course, play along with our score streaks. That's going to do it for our first 3 matches on the day. But the biggest one is still yet to come. We're going to find out who locks in that 2nd spot in the playoffs. Is it going to be Fnatic coming over from the UK, or will it be the boys wearing blue on Evil Geniuses? Don't go anywhere. When we return, we got more of the Call of Duty World League.